Well, hello there, and welcome back to Mr. E's Mysteries and Magics. This is Tutorial Tuesday, so I'm posting the tutorial for the name trick, which is a video that I posted earlier. Now, we're going to get into this, but there's a couple of things you need to know before we really get started. First of all, this is very much an impromptu magic effect. You don't need any kind of particular cards to do these. Any deck of cards will do just fine. There's no setup involved. The cards are not stripped. They're not marked. Nothing like that at all. It is a great little magic effect to have at your hands when someone comes up to you and says, hey, Mr. Wizard, do some magic. So you take your drunken friends aside and, you do this. The other thing is the card that the spectator chooses is a completely free choice. No forces involved. So having said that, the important thing to remember is you don't need to know what card is chosen. It's not that kind of particular effect. What you do need to know, and this is very important, is where this card is located. You don't need to know what it is, but you do need to know where it is. And here's why. It starts out a little bit unusual. 99.99% of magic effects start out with a card, if you're going to control it somewhere, usually to the top or to the bottom. Not this effect. This effect, you need the chosen card to go in the second position as they're face down, one card on top of it. Okay, so we're going to use the card that was chosen in the demo video at random, the 9 of clubs, the Midnight Sun Brewing Company of Anchorage, Alaska. We will continue to use that as our chosen card. Now, how you control this card to the second position is completely up to you. It doesn't really matter to me what you do. I'll never know. So I will show you what I did. If you want to do it that way, that's fine. Otherwise, do whatever you're comfortable with. So when the spectator has chosen their card, I will take it and I will put it about halfway into the deck. Okay, and I'm going to do a double undercut, and I'm sure you know how to do that. You can see, I'll show you. There it is, right? Halfway into the deck, pretty much. And when I do my double undercut, and of course I'm not going to do it at this angle for a spectator. I'm doing this for you. If I'm doing this, I'm covering everything with my hands and holding it this way. But from the side, I like to bend my card down a little bit like that to hold the break. And the reason I do that is because I am a complete putz. And if I don't do that, I find that I tend to lose my thumb break and lose control of the card. I close up the break, the card gets lost in the middle, and I'm sunk. So I like to bend the card down a little bit, creates a little bit more of a gap, so you got to be a little bit more careful with your angles, but it does also make you very aware of where the card is and makes it very easy to do the double undercut, which is what I'm doing now, and boom, there's your 9 of clubs on the top. So we're halfway there. The next thing I did, and sometimes it takes 2 or 3 shots to do this, is I did a simple riffle shuffle. Now, I hesitate to call this kind of a riffle shuffle a false shuffle because you really are shuffling cards around. It's just that only 2 of them matter. The top card and the second card, the chosen card, now is on top. But I call this a controlled riffle shuffle. I don't know if that's really officially correct or not. Doesn't really matter. But you do a controlled riffle shuffle and well, let's do it. Okay, so there it is. All right, you've controlled. I did it very slowly to make sure that I got it right. But of course, when you're doing this with a well broken in deck of cards that you're comfortable with, you can just zip right through that. I'm not going to tell you on the demonstration video which one of the 3 riffle shuffles actually moved the card from the top to the second position. You're going to have to go back to the video itself and see if you can't figure it out. I know which one it was. You're going to have to figure that out. But on this one, I did it very slowly to make sure that you see that I've gotten the card now into the second position. At this point, too, what you can do, and this is helpful, is just do a false cut of some sort. There you go. All right, boom. The card's somewhere in the deck. Who knows where? Well, your spectators don't know where, but you do. Okay, again, very important. Okay, so when we did the demonstration, we used the name Mary. 1, 2, 3, 4. M-A-R-Y. And what I like to do, as you heard, is I asked my spectator, what is the least magical letter of the alphabet? They say they don't know, and you say it's the letter Y. If they have a name like Maria that has 2 A's, you say it's the letter A at the end of a name, whatever. Again, you can say whatever you want, but that's the way I do it. And if you recall, you simply go left to right, okay? I laid the cards down left to right. That's important. And then you're going to count them out left to right. M-A-R-Y. We got to get rid of all the Y's. M-A-R-Y. M-A-R-Y. And then, boom, your last card is the 9 of clubs or whatever their chosen card happens to be. Now, that's very straightforward, but something screwy happens when you have 6 cards on the table, and the person's name is 6 letters long, of course. So let's use Stephen. Okay, so here we have 6 cards, S-T-E-V-E-N. Least magical letter of the alphabet is N, Stephen, so we've got to get rid of those. S-T-E-V-E-N. Now watch what happens on this pass. S-T-E-V-E-N. You take this card, but it creates this gap here, okay? And it looks a little suspicious later on because this is the chosen card. The 9 of clubs is right here. So this looks kind of suspicious, having this gap and the chosen card isolated by itself. So what I like to do when I get to this point is when I start the 4th pass, I simply go S-T-E-V-E-N. All right, it's a very smooth move, moving the card next to the other cards, and it creates this sort of visual misdirection that kind of keeps your audience from thinking, okay, yeah, I can see what he did. He isolated the chosen card, and that's how the magic is done. This kind of gets rid of that, okay? So then you go through S-T-E-V-E-N, blah, 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 throw this one down, and sure enough, there is, again, the 9 of clubs, okay? So when you have 6 or 8 or 10 cards on the table, be aware that that second position at some point is going to create a gap, and you're going to need to slide and do that little sort of misdirection-y kind of move to keep things flowing. Now, here's the weirdest part of it all. Let's say that your spectator's name is not Mary, but Marie. All right, well, I'll put this back on the deck. Her name is Marie. Well, now you have an odd number. Unfortunately, you lay the cards out left to right as usual, but with an odd number of cards, going left to right to spell out the name and take out the E's doesn't work. You have to go right to left. Okay, and let me show you. M-A-R-I-E, M-A-R-I-E, M-A-R-I-E. All right, we've got our gap. M-A-R-I-E. This is the 9 of clubs. Boom, you've got this card still sitting here. Not good. So, just to show you for sure what happens when you do it from right to left, M-A-R-I-E, 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 there's your gap, M-A-R-I-E, and sure enough, there is your 9 of clubs. It works. Okay? Theoretically, it works. I'll tell you why it doesn't work in actual practice. You lay out the cards left to right, just like that, and then you start counting the cards back out right to left. I guarantee you, I absolutely guarantee you, because it has happened to me, and it's happened more than once, and I have stopped doing it this way because of this one very problem, you will get some guy who looks at you right in the eye and says, "Hey, you put the cards down left to right, but then you counted them out right to left. That's not right. Do it the right way." So you have several options at this point. And option number 1, of course, is, extreme violence, which is, frowned upon by the law enforcement authorities and is pretty much, counterproductive. You don't really need to take out anybody's knees or whack them over the head with a beer bottle or anything like that, because They don't let you do magic in jail. So we, you know, violence is right out. You can't do that. No violence. So this is the way around it. We have our lovely lady Marie here, and you say to Marie, Marie, what is your middle initial? It's A. Great, there you go. You've got 6 cards, you're ready to go. What is the least magical letter of the alphabet? Well, it's the letter A when it's your middle initial, because she's already got an A over here. So you go with that, all right? You've got 6 cards, you're ready to go. This always works. Always, always, always works left to right with an even number of cards. Doesn't matter what the number is, as long as it's even. You lay the cards out left to right, you can count them out left to right. Perfectly works. Works perfectly every single time. However, now let's get into something that's a little bit more tricky. Now that you know how to get rid of names that are 5 letters long or 7 letters long, you just simply add the initial and make them 6 and 8. The 3-letter names are a special case in their own. Oddly enough, 3 letters works in either direction. B-O-B. B-O-B. There's your card, all right? All right, that was left to right. Right to left, B-O-B. B-O-B. And of course, there it is, okay? Now, for some mathematical reason that I don't understand, this has a strange corollary to doing this trick with longer names. And that corollary is that if you have a multiple of 3 that is odd, no matter what you do, left to right, right to left, I don't care how you set them up, I don't care how you count them out, it doesn't work. So it will not work for 9. It does work for 3. 3 times 1 is the exception. 3 times 2 is 6, even number. 3 times 3 is 9, won't work for 9. 3 times 4 is 12, works for 12. 12 is an even number. 3 times 5 is 15, doesn't work for 15. God help you if someone has a 21-letter name. Frankly, I don't go much beyond 8 letters. I will tolerate 10 letters, but I will not go beyond 10 ever. I try to keep it to 6 or 8 or 4, or if necessary, 3 is fine as well, as you saw. So what do? Well, let me explain something. First of all, you're not going to run into an awful lot of people with names that long. You may run into people with 9-letter names. In fact, you will run into someone with a 9-letter name, and I'll tell you why. You're not going to run into too many people named Genevieve, but trust me, if you do this magic effect enough, you will, as sure as my name is Mysteries and Magics, run into a young lady named Stephanie. Stephanie is an extremely popular name. 9 letters, you're in trouble. All right, so how do you handle that? Well, clearly, you can simply ask Stephanie her middle initial. By the way, if you get someone whose name doesn't have a middle initial, like let's say a Joanne or something, and Anne is really their middle name, but they use them both as Joanne, ask them for their last initial. Doesn't really matter. All you need to do is get one more card down there, so you got Joann, last initial, and 6, and you're ready to go. So Stephanie is 9 letters. You can ask her for her middle initial, last initial, whatever. You can simply say to her, can we cut your name down? Do people call you Steph or Steffi or whatever? Well, if it's Steph, that's 5 letters. Again, ask for the middle initial. Steffi is, 7 letters? S-T-E-P-H-I-E-S, 7 letters. So you ask for another card or another initial, and you throw down another card, and you got 8, and you're ready to go. So that's it. You just have to keep in mind those odd exceptions. Anytime you have literally an odd number, you somehow have to get one more card down to make this magic effect work smoothly and without any problems. It's not that complicated, but it is something you need to be aware of. This is a really fun magic effect to do. I get great response and great reaction when I do this. So I hope you'll take that into account, and I hope you'll use this in your own repertoire and keep it available for those times when someone asks you to do an impromptu trick for them. So anyway, that's it for this time. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, or and if you decide not to subscribe, then you're just an ass clown. If you want to get notified, of course, hit that notification button, hit the like button. Let me know what you think. I want to hear your comments. I'd love to hear ideas. If you do this effect or any of the effects that I teach, let me know in the comments. Let me know what happens. Let me know if it worked. Let me know if you had problems with it. We can work something out maybe. Maybe we can do something to make the effect a little better. That's it for now. I want to thank RP Magic Shop, as usual, in Ludlow, Massachusetts, for sponsoring this channel. And please go to their website, www.rpmagicshop.com. There are free downloads. There are free newsletters to sign up for. He's constantly running sales, free shipping throughout the United States on orders of $40 or more. So, Rich is a great guy. Check him out. Check out his own YouTube channel where he's got a few tricks as well that he's posted. Do all that good stuff. And in the meantime, always leave them baffled.